what sunscreen does is it does prevent sunburn. So let's go into how it prevents sunburn. Sunscreen blocks UVB rays, and that's the ray that creates the sunburn. So our skin absorbs the sunscreen chemicals, and then this prevents the UVB rays from manifesting as sunburn. But what it's doing is it's basically anesthetizing our skin and disabling our skin's early warning protection against sunburn. It's because it's taking that sunburn away. And what the sunburn's supposed to do is say, hey, you've been in the sun a bit long. Let's back up. Let's get out of there. Seek some shade. What sunscreen also does is it separates UVA rays from its ultraviolet partner UVB. And current studies show that it's actually isolated UVA rays that cause more skin damage. And if that wasn't enough, what the sunscreen's doing is it's blocking our vitamin D production because it's UVB rays that create vitamin D. So it's blocking vitamin D through blocking the UVB ray, and it's allowing the penetration of isolated UVA rays. And if that wasn't enough, then what we've got is that we're baking these carcinogenic free radical ingredients into our skin. Ingredients like oxybenzone, which is the main active ingredient in sunscreens right now. It's a powerful free radical generator, and it is anti-carcinogenic until it is exposed to sunlight. I don't know who thinks of these things. So sunscreens are promoted to preserve our skin and to prevent wrinkles and aging, but what happens is they're altering the innate intelligence of our cells. They're encouraging the carcinoma by doing this and damaging DNA, and then also because they're synthetic ingredients, they're seen as free radical agents that can accumulate in our lipid layers, and then we've got the extra thing of accumulating xenoestrogens, and they oxidize our amino acids. So they're not really, they are preventing the sunburn. But this is really interesting too, because we do want to avoid sunburns, but sunburns are actually easier for our DNA to process than the cell damage of being in the sun with sunscreens. So I'm going to repeat that. Sunburns are actually easier for our DNA to process than dealing with the sun damage of being in the sun with sunscreens. So what sunscreens also do is that they're preventing melanin from working, and melanin is our ancient photoprotective mechanism that is designed, that was put in place for our interaction with the sun. And melanin helps the DNA transform the photons into harmless heat. So when we're getting to a stage where we're working our way towards a sunburn, the DNA transforms the photons into harmless heat. And it's because it's a natural process, it's able to do this very efficiently. Up to a rate of 99.9% of the photons are turned into harmless heat. And it is the 0.1%, that tiny fraction, that causes the sunburn. So it damages the DNA in a tiny way, but efficiently, quickly, and the body can deal with it. Whereas with sunscreens, what's happening is the DNA is not able to take those photons and turn it into harmless heat. So the sunscreen is damaging the DNA indirectly. And it is this indirect DNA damage that is responsible for cell mutations. And this indirect DNA damage, the knowledge of this, is what has led to new research in recent years and sort of discovered new things about sunscreen. So in 2007, there was a study at the University of California, and it reviewed 17 studies of melanoma and sunscreen use. And what they found was that there is indeed a significant correlation between sunscreen use and skin cancer. So we really want to refuse to use sunscreens that are inhibiting this pretty sacred communication between the sun and our skin. This communication that's producing vitamin D and melanin. And we want to let some sunshine in, because far more useful than sunscreen is melanin, which lingers on our skin and in our blood in the form of vitamin D long after the sun's rays have set. If I could give this whole talk as a tweet, I'd be done. I would simply quote the poet Hafiz. And he says, "The sun has been my lover for millions of years. Whenever I offer my body, brilliant light pours from his heart." And that our skin is able, when it sees the sun or when it's engaging with it, the skin actually literally opens up to receive sunlight, and the sun penetrates through trillions of pores, and that underneath in the epidermis, the skin actually dilates to receive the sun's rays. And then it produces these great substances of melanin, and then we get lubricated internally with these beneficial hormonal secretions. So, of course, our skin already comes with all the mechanisms necessary to extract nutrients and beneficial substances from sunbeams. It's all very convenient. It was already worked out. So, as many of you know, some of these substances, we've got melanin, we've got sulfur, and we've got the steroidal hormone vitamin D. And the vitamin D is an amazing thing. We've heard a lot about it, but it's a steroidal hormone, and it engages with almost every single cell of our body. And it courses through our blood, or it's supposed to if we have it in there. And it helps to repair organs. It helps to lower blood pressure and insulin. It boosts immune. It boosts neuromuscular functioning. And it influences over 2,000 genes. It also, along with other vitamins like vitamin K2, it's essential for driving minerals into our bones and teeth. Vitamin D receptors, so vitamin D is like the key, and then we have the vitamin D receptors, which are the lock. And vitamin D receptors are found in almost every single cell of our body. Now, of course, we would expect that they're found in skin cells, but they're also found in the heart, in the brain, in the bones, and in the breasts, in the prostate, pancreas. They're found in the small intestines, the colon, and that's just to name a few. I mean, they're everywhere in the body. And they're essential. They need to be filled with these sun secretions.